Hello, human collective. Welcome to the Upside to Grief. My name is Story, and I am your host.
And my name is Erica, and I am your co host.
And today on the podcast, we have Leandra, all the way from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yes, thank you so much for coming and just being a part of this. The whole reason that you're here is super special. And can you tell us, like, super briefly? We'll get into your story and everything, but today is it March 2nd?
Today's March 2nd.
Today is March 2nd that we are
Tomorrow.
recording. Yeah, and what is tomorrow?
What is tomorrow?
Tomorrow will make the 4 years since the incident happened.
Yeah.
With who?
My beautiful baby girl, Annaliese.
So your kiddo, your daughter.
Yeah.
My only one, yeah.
Mm.
I always wanted a girl and I got her. And all those 11 years were worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about her? Or who are we going to be talking about?
Yes.
Who was she? Who was
Yeah.
her? Your little human. What was
Again,
she
Your
like?
mini me.
I can't help but smile. Even like with the sadness of the nature. Like she was a
Yeah.
very little spicy girl. She was all like me. She was very much kind of a tomboy, very sciencey, very she loved space and everything beyond. She was very a realist, right? And not like in a negative way, but just in a way that she was very in touch with the world. And it was kind of amazing. Annalise was very smart. She was a little bit, I don't want to call it defiant.
Oh.
She was like her
Sassy?
mother. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Sassy, right? Like no hesitation to ask a question on something that makes sense.
Good for
Fairness was very important to her, as it was to me as a child, right? I remember speaking to my own mother about the same thing. It's like, that's not fair though. And we all know now the world's not always fair.
We learned that.
Right. And so you're trying to explain that to your child. But like at least she had that good soul, you know what I mean? Like she was all about what was fair and what was right for people. And yeah, she just wanted to understand everything, and she was super smart. She was an English science girl like myself. So I mean, she was really big into it, and then yeah, astrophysics was her jam. And so like all the time before bed, she would watch the Bob Ross, because that's awesome and soothing, or she'd watch Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson, because that's always really soothing too. But that was her life. She really, really loved space and to think about all the beyond.
The universe. Yeah.
Very deep little girl. Like
Space
it
is
amazed me.
awesome.
It amazed me sometimes. Honestly, I was like, man. So yes, that was Annalise. And she's hilarious too. That kid was funny. She was so funny. It's the whole family though.
Yeah, she got it from a good source, her whole family.
Yeah, so we really are. We try to be that way.
Mm-hmm. And you have another kiddo too, yes?
Yes. Leonidas.
Very nice.
Cool name, right?
Yeah. Where does it come from?
It's kind of a cool story. My name is Leandra. You have already said that, right? In Greek, that means lioness. Leonidas in Greek means lion or a great leader.
I love that.
And I'm very into Greek and Egyptian, like mythology in general.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was kind of cool because even the same, number of letters in the name and just the meaning and stuff. So it was like really cool. Like we kind of joked about it at first, but then like honestly, that's a really strong, neat name.
Yeah.
It is.
We call him Leo on the brief. Everyone's like, oh my
I
gosh,
love
Leonidas.
that.
Yeah, that's
really
Leonidas
cool.
James. He's a really cool guy. And like Annalise was so interesting. I feel like between the two of them, like I have had I'm blessed. Not that she passed, but I am so blessed to have children like I had with them. Like I've got to learn so much and like how deep they can be and like how amazing it is though. Like it's such an experience. And I've thought about it many times. Like if I could do it over again, if I knew that it would end like it did with Anna or something, like as much as it's hard to say, I would do it all over again than not ever have her. Because even those 11 years and all the pain was so worth it. That child taught me so much.
Yeah.
She really did. And in her passing, it really showed me how strong you can really be. when something truly matters to you, and like just the love and the heart of it, but like making sure no one else ever feels this, and that legacy lives on and people don't forget.
Yeah.
And not because I want them to be sad for her. I just want them to, for one, obviously, more awareness, right? For the situation, how she
Absolutely.
passed. But just honestly, like, that whole, we've all talked about it with grief, right? We all feel like you have to take advantage of every moment because you just never know, right? And
Yeah.
I've been that way on both ends, and I've seen it happen to other people too. And so I really try hard to even, we all have heated moments with people, our children, our husbands, our spouses, our friends. But you just never know. At the end of the day, none of that matters.
Yep.
I mean, it does. Don't get me wrong.
No.
Boundaries
It
are
does,
very important.
Yes.
Boundaries are my besties. I learned that
girl,
one from my
me
therapist,
too.
actually.
Me
Boundaries
too.
are my
Me
best.
too. And it's hard, right? When you have to impose those, especially with people you love. But the point is, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
what's really gonna matter
The people
when
you
you're in a
love.
hospital bed and all these things fall to the side?
Stupid argument about X, Y, and Z isn't gonna
Yes, ma'am.
matter. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
So, I mean, I've been on both ends of that. And so I try to remember that. Both with my spouse, and then, I have my son, and obviously that's very frustrating. He doesn't understand things and stuff like that. But to keep myself from getting frustrated, for one, obviously after losing his sister and stuff like that, but also just people in general. At least for me, right? Because everyone deals with grief a little bit differently, right? They get a little bit angry, they get a little bit, I feel like it's made me almost more of a softie. Like, it's made me stronger, but it's made me more of a softie.
I love that though.
Right, because you process things differently now.
Yeah.
Now you maybe not. Sometimes grief, I feel like, can make you less of an asshole.
Yeah, it definitely
can
made
precisely,
me softer.
yeah.
It can do like
Yeah.
the complete opposite.
I mean, I'm still, I
Right?
can be an asshole for sure, but like,
Oh,
there's
girl,
like this
yeah.
edge of
Don't get me wrong.
softness. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's totally relatable.
But when you know that it's genuine, right?
Yes.
With when someone needs some grace, some love, some, whatever that is, like,
yeah.
And like friendships and things, people I had before and after the fact. So I've had to explain to people that, like, despite, they don't want to come to me with their pains and their things and stuff. And I'm like, no, please.
No, please
like, it makes me feel better to love on you. And I probably have, I can't say that, but I have a huge, and I was an empath before, but like definitely after, because you start to realize like life is short, and these things that seem so huge are not, and then things that are bigger than you realized are. If that makes any sense whatsoever.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Right. So like it kind of, I guess, puts things into perspective.
Yeah. It's like such a cliche that people say, like, when you lose somebody, or we're not promised tomorrow, but like, when I feel like when you actually use somebody that you love, like their passing, and you turn it into something like purposeful, you get mindsets like that, like, where no, at the end of the day, like, this is what matters, and life is short, but like truly understanding those things, not just like saying them,
Not
like,
just rattling them off.
Yeah,
Like
the
feeling
cliche.
it fully in your
But
soul.
you really, exactly, in your soul, you're like, you know what? It may be inconvenient, maybe whatever it may be, but like at the end of the day, you realize what really matters.
Yeah, it sounds like you embody that very much in many areas of your life.
I try very hardly, like very, very much. Friends, family, whatever it is, I try to be very, give people grace and understand, because I know there's definitely been some days when like I was good for nothing, or at least in my opinion, because I'm a very usually productive person, so it's a little bit tough, right? And then like the sudden nature of the way that happened too, because a lot of people have that discussion about like, is it harder to deal with like say cancer or something that's ongoing, right? That people are gonna pass. Like, is that crummier, or you wake up out of bed and your daughter's dead?
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't. My whole thing, and I believe we spoke about this previous, is like, I personally don't believe in trauma comparisons.
Yeah, comparing
I think
grief.
that's BS.
We don't do that.
No, we don't do that, right? Because
I
pain
learned
is
that
pain,
early.
and it's totally different, right? Because I couldn't even imagine, right? Because I haven't been through that long where I knew it was coming type of thing. Both between my mother and my daughter, they were both like that.
Yeah.
And so, like, as much as that hurts, though, I don't know what I would do with knowing that it's slowly approaching either. So I have so much respect and stuff for, like, people that went through their losses that way, too, because that's something in and of itself. So I just try to stay very open-minded that everyone's pain is legit. It's real. And you should respect that.
Yeah.
And just try to hear people.
Yeah.
Like, I really try my best to listen to people, and I feel like I am pleasantly met with, like, people like, how are you so? And I'm like, because, like, I don't want no one to ever feel the way I feel. And that's, school bus safety and all the things I do with the child safety net, but just in general with grief and stuff like that. And they're like, the upside of grief, that's, kind of a oxymoron, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm like, I mean, yes, but no. Right?
Exactly.
Especially if you're not someone that's been through it, right? So you're like, what do you mean upside? Well,
Like,
no,
you
there
just
is.
haven't been there yet.
It is, because it makes you just have this, like we talked about, empathy and the sense of, like, what people are like and what they need, and you hear people better and you receive people better. And, like, most of us, like we were talking about, some people get angry, some people get empathetic, right? But those of us that don't get bitter, right? You just want to hug people and you want to comfort them. You want to help them get through it. You want to validate them, because that's probably what you needed whenever it happened to you. Whether it was mom, dad, child like mine, right? You just need someone to not, like, feed you the cliche lines like we were talking about at the beginning of this.
Bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not that it's wrong, but
there's nothing wrong
it's
with
frustrating.
it, but, like, it's not a get well card type of situation.
Yeah. Thanks for the thought, right? And I do, and I try to be, because sometimes people just don't, they don't know what to say.
They haven't been there, so they,
So I really try to be understanding that, like,
mindful.
sometimes people don't know what to say, and, like, that their intentions are good. Devil's advocate. I've always been that way. My whole life, I've been very much a devil's advocate, and
I try to walk in people's shoes, or just see the other perspective.
It really is, like, it's crazy how some of the crummiest things happen to some of us that were empaths before bad things happened. But then sometimes it's like, well, I don't like to say things are meant to be for people or destiny or things like that, but, like, whatever it may or may not be, right? It puts me in a position, and it's not, like, something I'm proud of. I don't want to be nobody's poster child. You know what I mean? And I've kind of become that way, but I want to be, like, a more realistic, everyday mom, woman, veteran, all the things. And you know what? Life happens. Moms die, daughters die, and it's not fair. And you never know. You never know. And so that's really what I try to preach to people all the time. It's just like, dude, when you love people, let them know.
Yeah.
Give them the flowers on this side of the ground and not the other.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, with an 11-year-old, you don't expect that. But that is why every chance I got, the last thing I said to her was, I would, like, also corny, but I'll say it. Because she died at the morning bus stop. So, of course, last time I saw her was to tell her goodnight. And we would always do this thing. And, of course, I saw I love her, and she's so smart, blah, blah, blah. And I'd, like, hug her, but I'd, like... It's kind of like a vibrate, because, like, squeeze it really hard, so like, really, really fast. And I'm like, well, it's because I can't get enough hugs in. I need, like, 1 million hugs, because that's how much I love you. And then, like, you know how, like, in school you would play, like, the P word game? You start really quiet and get a little louder and louder. Well, we do that, but with I love you. Ooh. So, because her room was upstairs, so she'd go upstairs, and I'm like, I love you. The very last thing I said to my daughter was, I love you.
Yeah, just screaming it out.
Yeah, like whisper screaming. Yeah, like up the stairs. Like, we would do it every night. And so that was the last thing I said to her. And so it's really effed off. But at least I know that was that. And it happened really fast. And she loved to go to school. And I just have to comfort myself in knowing, like, before she knew what was happening, it was over.
Can you...
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't see you lean in.
Can you walk us through that morning?
Yeah, I can. So that morning, generally her father would, because, we talked about little brother or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, he was like a toddler. So dad would, he had to get up and go to work. And so I would, we had like one of those finished basements, right? So I was down there asleep. And he would send Anna off to school or whatever. And so he did. And we lived in Colorado. It was really cold. And so we would like get her all ready and stuff and kind of hang out by the, on our back porch. Because you hear a bus coming. They're loud, especially in a town of 3,000. And essentially, what had happened was, I can't speak for the man himself, but he was tardy. And whichever way it went, essentially, Annaliese went down to the bus stop as she did every single day. And she was trying to get his attention, like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm coming, even though you're tardy. But I'm coming. I'm here." And apparently, some other students said some things and stuff, and that's neither here nor there. Kind of is, kind of not. Point is, what happened with her was, yeah, as she was trying to board the bus, she was about halfway up, and she was smacking the side of the bus and trying to let him know to like stop. And he was only going 6 miles an hour. And you know how some sidewalks have like the the ramp, like at the corner it'll be like a ramp going down.
Mm-hmm.
I she tripped. And the way the universe works sometimes, unfortunately, instead of falling this way, she fell under the rear wheels of the bus. And we can all assume what happened from there. Yeah. And that happened at about 7:21 a.m. And I was not notified until like 9 a.m. It happened less than a quarter mile from my house. It's pretty much right out back. Not too sure about why, like why it took so long or whatever. But yeah, like so I kind of woke up, to deal with the other child, and it was a sheriff or yeah, it was because it was a small town.
So did they come knock on your door? Or did somebody call you, or what happened there?
No, and that that's kind of a weird piece of it. But the way that it truly happened was, like I said, our room was in the basement, right? And we had like a sliding glass door in the back. And I had just woke up because some neighbors, like I said, a small town, right? Some neighbors had sent me some text and they didn't know it was my daughter, but it's a small town. So they're all just like, "Oh, hey, did you hear about, type of thing?" But my daughter, Annaliese, is very small, right? Like to be 11, she's really small. She's like a little string bean. And so a neighbor wrote me about it and she's like, "Yeah, there was an accident or something this morning." And of course, the school district has sent out a text message to like
a mass text to everybody.
Exactly. A mass text to like basically everyone, especially in that small town. So it's like, okay. So I saw that. I saw the stuff from my landlord. And I was like, I'm still laying in bed. As much as I hate to say, like I'm a smoker and things like that. Like I hadn't even like got out. I hadn't even used the restroom yet. And yeah, so like I talked to my landlord and she's like, "Oh, okay." Because she was like, "How old are your kids?" And I was like, "Well, Leo's home with me. He's not even in school, and Anna's 11." And she's like, "Oh, this was a really small child." My daughter was just a petite thing, is what it was. But like I was mentioning earlier, she had pink and purple in her hair, so everyone kind of knew who she was because it was a small town. Mm.
And your husband had left for work at this point too, right?
Yes, ma'am. So essentially, yeah, he would get up in the he would get up in the morning time and get her prepared and everything like that. And like I was saying, because it was really really cold and it was kind of a common thing, right? They'd be running late. Bus drivers do what they do. So, we were all ready and waiting or whatever, but for some reason, I guess I can't speak for what he was thinking, but he was running late, and for whatever reason, he did not look, didn't notice, didn't think about it. I can't speak for him. Point is, she tripped and fell, and he did proceed to run her head over. I'm sorry if that's kind of graphic.
No, you're good.
So that's what happened, and then it took them a little bit to come tell me,
and to notify your husband too.
Well, they told me first.
But you didn't find out till 9.
Yeah, right? That was kind of the wild part because my husband, we lived in a rural area.
Mm-hmm.
His job at the hospital was like 45 minutes away at the time.
Okay, so then did you end up calling your husband?
No, they did.
They did. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really love how that happened because they had to drive 45 minutes home knowing that. Yeah. I didn't think they would tell him exactly what happened because, I was obviously, like I said, they kind of came to the back door. And I said, I was in the basement. My dog went nuts.
How do you expect anybody to drive? We've talked about that in the past
about
like driving.
Did that? Like maybe you
that
told him
information.
Come home,
I couldn't imagine what that drive was like.
They told him exactly what had happened because we lived in Parachute, Colorado, and it was it's about 45 minutes from Grand Junction, almost in Utah type of like Western Slope. Okay, and yeah. Because, they told me, and of course, I was a mess. Yeah. And once I could breathe and talk again, they're like, well, what's his phone number? What's your code to your phone? Because we all have those now. And, I didn't know they were going to, tell him.
Do the whole thing. Yeah.
They dropped it on him. So, luckily, my husband's a smart man. And he called his parents and talked to them on the way home. But, it scared the snot out of me.
Yeah.
I was like, because he's going to know something's wrong, obviously, but, can we not tell him exactly what?
I know. That's a lot.
It killed me. And what's amazing is honestly, he drove home safely, and he was just like, don't leave my wife alone, please. She's already been through a lot. Don't leave her alone. And, of course, I was not alone. There was a lot of people around. Doing corners, and, they had to have, the state people come in and stuff from Denver. Because it was just a very, we talked about an unusual situation.
Well, and I remember when I talked with you previously too, you had said that it became this very public event. Yeah. Because of the nature of it and because of how small the town.
Did you have to deal with news teams and things like that? Oh man.
A lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So she passed, and like I said, when we were living out there, we're kind of like one of those families on an island, right? We don't have no family or anything. He just kind of got a job out there.
Yeah, it's just you guys.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. And then that's fine. We've done that. We've both been in the military. We're okay with that. And so she passed, and so we held a service out there. She was cremated, so there was no, you know what I mean? But we held a service for the locals and it's ironic because most of them didn't know her, but it's so crazy because... God, I hate to sound raunchy, but everyone's butthole puckered that morning when they got that text, especially if the baby was on a bus. Yeah, because they didn't say who, where, what stop.
Yeah. Just kind of fucked up.
No, it is fucked up.
You know what I mean? Why would you send out some mass
with
some generic mass text with
there was
no
an
information
incident this morning with a bus. It didn't say anyone passed, car accident. So I might have thought when I first read it, I thought well, maybe the bus got in a wreck. You know what I mean? My daughter's okay, but she was on the bus, but
yeah,
she was the subject of the whole shit.
I feel like they could have probably done a lot better there.
They did really shitty. They let kids take pictures of her and put it on Snapchat and Facebook, and
day of at the incident, correct?
Yes, immediately off the bus, and I don't know why, right? Because she's, behind the bus by I believe 60 feet or so. Yeah. I don't understand. And I'm allowed to speak on this. I don't understand why, because the only injury was a hoodie could have taken care of that.
Right.
I don't understand why it was multiple children. And kids are going to be kids. And I don't think I would be that way as a child, but whatever. Point is, it got scrubbed. It's cool. I didn't have to see it all the way. But it's just one of those things I would like to say publicly, please, people, you will ruin folks. Don't do that. Talk to your kids. I know we live in a world with a lot of social media and cameras and stuff, but there's some things you got to be respectful.
Yeah.
Point is, I was unfortunate but fortunate enough a family member caught it before I saw it, and she got it scrubbed off the internet for me. I don't know why. Like I said, she was behind the bus. You know how a school bus is. Why didn't you just make me go? I don't know.
Yeah. So many things could have been different.
Exactly. It's kind of neither here nor there, right? It's said and done, and I know how special she was. So, like, if that's, I guess, what got y'all's arcs off for a few minutes, then, like, whatever. It's the least of my worries.
Yeah, so what did you do after that then? Like, I know there's a huge part of something that you did. You turned a lot of this event, your pain, your love into purpose. So how did that part start? I'm sure it's a long journey and process.
Kind of, but not.
And this is in Colorado that this happened.
Yeah.
Correct, which you don't live there anymore.
Also true.
So timeline wise, like, where did that shift change?
Sure.
Before you left the state or after? Nope. Or both?
I had to sit there or I didn't have to do anything, right? Mm-hmm. But because I chose, to push for legislation on these issues, the haunting piece, Don Quorum, who is now no longer a senator in Colorado, but he was at the time, and he was already pushing for legislation for more training and the things we discussed earlier previously. So him and then the not my CEO, but the CEO of the nonprofit that I now volunteer work for, whatever you want to call it. Honestly, we had her first funeral there in Parachute, and then we went to Alabama where I have family and stuff like that, and did that. Her father's family's from Indiana, so that wasn't too bad of a travel. And as soon as I got back home, I had like a FedEx with like a packet, and it's
when you
like
got back
the
to
most
Colorado.
Exactly. Like the poster child you don't want to be, but at the same time, like my nature is to be like, once I read it, I was like, man, this is gonna be raw. This is gonna rip and this is gonna pull. And within 3 to 4 days, I was in Denver, which is about 4 hours from where we lived in Colorado. I've never worked in politics. I've never done anything before then, but I have always been the type to rise to an occasion, especially an important occasion like that. And so the way I felt about the whole thing was like, for one, I did not realize they were already working on this. That was the haunting part, was seeing with Don Quorum's video, like literally a week before. And he was like, what is it going to take before we do something about this? Is it going to cost a child their life? And I shit you not, less than a week later, my daughter died. And her bus driver was, we've talked about shortages, teachers, bus drivers, all over. We all know these things. This man was retired. The man that killed her, he was not driving a bus anymore. They called him back like that school year type of thing. He was like 74, 76, something like that. Very old.
So he was retired and they needed
Precisely.
help, so they called.
Okay. And they called him back because it was a very small town. You know what I mean? And I'm sure I don't forgive him. I'd be a lying bitch to say that. But I do understand, you know what I mean? Like, it's a tough moment because I try to be understanding and stuff. I'll never forgive him. But at the same time, I get it. Not what he did or whatever, but like, the pressure of being late, blah, blah, blah. You made some poor decisions though, because now that I know what I know, because obviously I've done a lot of research and the rules and the way it's supposed to go. Every state, like federally, state level, school district level, both my daughters and elsewhere, every school district always tells school bus drivers, like, we'd rather you be late, bring them kids to school late, than to have something bad happen. Exactly.
Yeah. And like, bring the kids to school late. Bring them
just
late.
do it safely.
Just yes,
And
do it
unfortunately,
safely.
yeah, and being at his age, the gentleman, he expressed his hearing and his vision weren't very great. I mean, as you would expect at that age, but I'm guessing, it's kind of a desperation situation where it's like, well, we need people to drive, but it's a balance there. But I still don't feel like it's okay.
Story and I were talking like literally yesterday about how we kind of talked about it a little bit where you could be like you could accept something but not be okay with it. And I feel like that kind of goes with it. Like you don't have to forgive, but you could like accept it even if it's like fucking shitty and you can logically think like, okay, like this is why, but like it's still okay to not be okay with it.
No, that's the beauty of therapy. I mean, honestly, like that's a big piece of it. It's like you can feel more than one way about a thing, right?
Yeah, duality, non-duality,
conflicting
they both
emotions
exist at once.
So I mean, like, I mean, he's definitely. I'm not one to have like a list of people I hate. And other hand, I have an interest in the man, and honestly, I'm more angry with like DAs and things like that. But the thing of it is, he could have been more responsible, clearly. And he probably should have listened. And there's a lot of should-haves.
Right.
Correct?
Should-haves.
There's a lot of them. Should-haves. What ifs.
But you know what? Like, I don't know why it had to be me or my daughter. Weird, freaky shit happens to people all the time. Even my mom passed, like, just, like, randomly sometimes. And then sometimes, like, like, people are sick. And that's why I was like, I don't even know how to compare that. The only type of loss I've had has been, like, I blinked my eyes and they were gone. I don't know which one's worse. All I know is I just want to hug everybody always. And like what's crazy is like it didn't take me losing someone to truly understand grace and loving people and understanding that everyone grieves differently. It looks a little different and like what makes people be able to move forward, right? Because we all have to some people have to get like more extreme, right? And then some people like me where you have to just kind of, because you have your kids and you're in a public eye and that's not something I ever was before my daughter. Like I was in the military, I've never been in front of a camera or anything like that. Like I did news interviews on like Telemundo and stuff like that because it affects everybody, no matter what the race of your child is, whatever's going on. And I'm not Hispanic in and of myself, in my own nature. And like we discussed, my mother passed when I was young, so I kind of have like a step-in mama, and she's a Puerto Rican woman from the Bronx. And so she's like very proud that I went on Telemundo. She's like, "Oh my God," and you spoke so good. Awesome. She was very proud of me. She calls me Buki the Unbothered.
Oh, Buki the Unbothered.
Yeah, that's my name is Buki. And she's like, Buki the Unbothered, could you just make it look so easy? And I'm like, well, I'm glad it looks easy because it's not.
It's not.
I am so dead inside.
Yeah.
I just love people too much though to
give up.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to ever feel this way. And I want to prevent, especially like this specific type of stuff with my daughter, but like anyone that's ever lost someone, because I mean, like, we've touched on the mom too, so it's like, I get it either way. Like the only thing I haven't done is to like be a widow, and I know that's like a whole thing, and I could fucking imagine, because that's pretty much the only thing I haven't done is die myself and be a widow. Other than that, and I am a only child, so I don't have siblings. I don't associate my father with his family. So sadly, it is really just me and my husband out here thugging it. Like, I hate to say it that way, but it really is. It's me and him out here doing the best we can with our beautiful little Leonidas. Yeah, Leo. And Lord knows that child looks just like his sister from behind. He really does. I love it.
And he kind of likes some of the things your daughter did too, right?
Oh, she was amazing. That child. Annaliese, like I said, she did talented and gifted. She actually just in the last few days, right? Like I haven't even talked to you guys about these things, but I guess because her anniversary is coming up and some of her classmates and stuff are getting older. They're in high school now, so they realize they can make changes and do things. So they're going to do like a park bench with their name on it. And they're trying to get a mural on the side of the wall out there on the hospital with her. And the most touching thing in the world, and I won't name the child's name, but a classmate of hers, a few weeks after Annaliese passed, got in an ATV accident and passed. And the crazy thing is, all these kids, they're making pictures and stuff for Annaliese. And that was one of them. And she said, I miss you. I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, it's a pretty butterfly, She colored. And that was the girl that passed away.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was just like, holy shit. Like, isn't the universe wild like that? Yeah. And how kids can be, they're just kids, but they still... And so, I mean, yeah.
They understand.
I went to that vigil. I showed up for that. And
Good.
I was really much happier for that family because, like I said, me and my husband are kind of skimpy on the family side. But I was happy to see that, like, that family was a larger family where they had a lot of support. But even then, I was like, I got to be there because...
Yeah, you got to show up.
Nobody knows how that feels.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And... were you able to, did you speak with the family, or did you guys become close? I know that you had mentioned that, you've met a lot of grieving moms because of this. And it's another one of those things where it's like, I hate that I know you because of this. But
right.
It's
I hate to be part of this club.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We
I'm glad to be here for you, but yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it. That family, like I said, she had a lot of people around her.
Yeah.
I came in, I'd made a really nice card and just said, like, hey.
Good.
Because, right in that moment, it's very crowded. There's a lot going on when someone first passed. I made sure to make him a card, and, that part doesn't matter. Okay, money doesn't matter. I gave them a card, and I just said, hey, you need someone that knows what it feels like? I'm here. Yeah. They had a lot of family. We did not, but I wanted them to know I understood. And I was just so touched because their baby thought about our baby and then how that happened. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. The world's wicked like that. But I refuse to let an opportunity to console someone or let them know they're not alone or other people feel their pain.
Connect with them.
Exactly. So that's kind of how that went.
I'm glad you did that. I feel like literally just saying I'm here.
That was really all it was. I wasn't trying to be all up in the mix because they had plenty of family, but I just wanted to be like, look, I just went through this, but I am here. Yep. If you, even if it's weeks from now when everything kind of, because that's really when it hurts. And I'm sure you ladies understand. It hurts when it happens, but a few weeks when everything settles down and all the people that care start to disperse and you kind of more
keeps happening. It doesn't stop.
Yeah, but they all start to move on with their lives, and you're still sitting there with it.
You're in a new reality.
So I was like, no, that's cool. Whenever, after a few weeks and you're sitting there marinating on it, I'll be here.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll always be here.
Okay, so Leandra, you guys live in New Mexico now. Albuquerque. Yeah. Yes. So what does life look like today in the now for you as your family unit?
Yes. Obviously we're always affected by what happened. We keep an eye out and things like that. Something kind of interesting. Not too long after we moved to Albuquerque, because we were in Colorado, so it was an easy move. Mm-hmm. Kind of crummy, but kind of cool, right? Making changes where you can. There's a bus stop right by our house, and with my position and all the education and stuff I've got now in school buses and transportation, I've been watching them, and so now I'm pretty tight with the school bus transportation guy in Albuquerque, so that I can make sure that his bus drivers are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Because in my position with the nonprofit I work with, I understand, there is a protocol, if you will, right? When you stop at a stop and when you pull off, there's certain things that have to happen, and it's a whole list of things that everyone's not interested in, but just certain things that need to happen to ensure safety, right? And not too long after moving there, I started not observing those things. And so when I called him at first, he was, parents do these things. But then I kind of explained a little bit, and he was like, wow, you know what? From now on, you reach out to me, please. And that's, Annaliese's, what happened with her happened in Colorado, not even in Albuquerque. And so it was a way, right?
Yeah.
And not in like a being a Karen or, you know what I mean? Like,
No,
that's
not
not
at
my
all.
personality at all. Like, I'm so, let everyone do what they need to do. But when I see something, I see it. And now I realize how these things that no one, you know what I mean? You don't think about it, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, no, I didn't call nobody out or anything, but it was one of those things because that's how you help people improve.
Yeah.
That was Anna's Law in Colorado. Like, it's very Googleable.
Yeah.
Look up Anna's Law and you'll see it. And that's a part of it, like we were talking about previously, was driver training, right? Because I think that I rode the school bus as a child. I don't know about you ladies.
I did, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And most school bus drivers, they love kids, like, right? And then they just want to get them to school and stuff like that. But they're also humans like the rest of us. We all get in a hurry. But in those situations, you got to be a little bit more careful, right? Like think like an 18-wheeler driver or something. So I don't feel anger. Like, it's a bit of a struggle to see. I mean, there's school buses everywhere. I try to think of it more like most of these people driving these buses love children, because otherwise, why would they do it?
Yeah.
If
they did not love children, they would not be doing that
I mean, let's
job.
be honest. Would you go work at a school or daycare if you couldn't handle that?
Yeah.
Absolutely
So,
not.
I mean, I would, like I said, benefit of the doubt. I'd like to think that it's not like that. And even if that one particular incident with my daughter happened that way, no, I don't feel like all school bus drivers are like that. I feel like they're just like a lot of us. They're overworked, they're underpaid,
Yeah.
and they're trying their best.
Yeah.
And then, we all get in a hurry and make mistakes, even just in regular driving of cars and things. So I really do try to not feel that way about all school bus drivers. And if anything, when I see something like that, I don't feel like somebody should be penalized.
Yeah.
I just want them to know. So now we're starting to work in Arizona, and we're starting to work in New Mexico, where I live as well. Because my CEO just moved to like the Phoenix area. And so like we're doing pretty good with getting a pilot program going there. And then since now I'm kind of, me and the school bus transportation guy in Albuquerque have chatted. He's like, you just let me know. Not in even like a telling on people kind of way, but I'm very excited to be able to bring some of the technology and the safety and the things that I've thought up on my own and my CEO and things like that, because I don't want the nature of the way that Annaliese passed is actually quite unusual, right? Usually when you have a child pass, when it comes related to school bus activities and things of that nature, unfortunately, it's usually we call them stop arm runners. We all know the stop sign comes out, and some people, we all know we're supposed to stop.
Yeah, you're supposed to
theory.
stop.
Yeah.
In theory, right? We can't speak for other people. But the point is, what happened with my daughter was not that. But I do still work very fervently on that. And then, it's been like 4 years. So now I work fervently on trafficking and the women and children, indigenous women and children, especially in this part of the country. That's become a whole new thing. We just want to keep children safe. And that's what I do. And I just I couldn't even imagine, right? Like the pain, like I'm feeling it. I live this. This is my reality. And somehow I still can't imagine someone else being able to carry this. And it's not because I think I'm superwoman or something like that. I just,
how deep the pain is.
Yeah, I think it's more like I don't want
somebody to understand how deep it can
I don't
really
want you to understand.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't want anyone to understand. And if I can help it, I want to prevent that. But I also want people to know that even when the worst of the worst happens, which is like something like this, you lose your kid and it's in a freaky, weird way. You know what I mean? You're sending them off to school. You never, because I heard my child walk out the door and the sliding glass door shut behind her like it does every morning. Every morning. That's why I had no idea until an officer came to the back door and kind of came in, you know what I mean? It was like, Miss Wagner. And I was like, that's not my husband's voice.
That's not my husband.
It was a cop. Yeah, the back door was still unlocked because unfortunately, the bus driver had done that a few times before with the lateness. So, because I'd be in bed till the other child woke up, he would just leave the door unlocked in case something like that happened. She could come back in and tell me to take her to school.
Yeah.
But, children being children, they think that they can make it and they can get the attention of the driver, and it did not happen. And that's how her story ended, unfortunately. But that child she is so much like, she has a legacy, and it deserves to be respected, not only because it's like this terrible, sad story. Annaliese was a force to be reckoned with, right? Like, her friends 4 years later, they're in high school, they're getting ready to be done now, sadly, and that is like, my soul, right? But at the same time, to know that she did make that kind of an impact, because like I said, we don't have a lot of family and stuff like that, me and her dad, but her friends remember her.
They remember her.
She is a very impactful girl. She was so fearless. So fearless. Like, she was a beautiful child, but like, that girl had no fear in her heart. She was very smart. She was very innovative. And I feel like every decision I've made since she's passed has always been about like, well, what would Anna think about this? Right? And I'm sure you guys can understand. We understand you try to want to do that. I really do. I try to honor her friends, the people that cared about her, and let them, because I can only imagine even just being, there's children on that bus and stuff too that saw that were not taking photos and being crummy.
That were just there.
Yeah, they were just traumatized. My heart just, like, I couldn't even imagine. I didn't go through anything like that at that age. So
yeah,
in a weird way, like, I'm sorry for them.
Yeah.
It gets in my laws, but I am so sorry that like anyone's child had to see that, and I just hope that they learned something. Not even about just, yes, be safe with buses, but like empathy and grace, and we all know this whole world is kind of lacking in some areas with that. Like, we are all the same, and we all have feelings, and I want to do is make sure that no one has to feel like I feel. And I don't, my child's not a poster child. She's not. This is not a true crime story. She's not a poster child. She's just, for some silly reason, my segue to try to make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else.
Yeah.
I really don't know how else to phrase it than that, my ladies.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good moment. Would you like to ask the question, Erica?
Yeah, I'll ask the question because I feel like that's a perfect little lead into what we ask our guests, and we're gonna ask you too. But
I'm ready.
I know you are ready because you've thought about this before. Like,
I've been asked
really
the hard
resonated.
questions. I'm like, I'm ready for it, man. Even if I have to cry.
And this one's like a hard one too. But it's literally just the title of our podcast. What do you think the upside to grief is? Like, is there an upside to grief, especially with like a loss like this? For Anna,
more yes than no, right? I'd be a liar to say like, oh yeah, there's totally an upside, but the upside, right? Because we talked about it's my mother younger, so I went through that, like, right, kind of flapping in the wind, and then I didn't do therapy and all the stuff. 13-year-old just figuring it out, as opposed to, all I want to say is the upside, at least for me, to grief, and I kind of carried these characteristics, but even more so is empathizing with people and realizing that, like, grief looks so different for everybody, in that, it's hard to understand if you haven't grieved yourself in that way, whether it's mother, parent, brother, sister, child. You really, besides like harming yourself, obviously, like, let people do what they need to do, because sometimes grief looks crazy. It looks wild. It looks, it looks like screaming in a waterfall, or, whatever that may, because we're all different individuals, right?
Yeah.
So what we may need to move on and live. And I'd be a lying woman to say I completely have it figured out. I know what the upside to grief is. No, but all I do know is, like, I can find other mothers and other daughters and other people like myself. And honestly, that's what I did in grief group. I really did. I tried all the, the avenues and things you can do. And I did that for a while, and it was great. What ended up happening, though, is it kind of started leading the group. So, because I am one of those people that struggles with letting my grief show. And I just want to help. I want to hug everyone, and I want to hold them, and I want to help them. So, like, I feel like what helps me bear with my grief is to help other people bear with their grief. I don't want anyone to feel like they're weird or unusual, whatever that might look like. Go flopping in a creek, or just even sometimes you have to avoid certain things because it's very painful. Like, we used to camp and stuff a lot. We love to like dry camp too, like tent, the whole thing, because we're both veterans. I haven't been able to go camping in the last 4 years. I'm not. I seem like I'm very put together, but there are certain things, spaghetti, camping.
Yeah, spaghetti, camping. And when the time is, if the time
and
comes.
And I love camping, but yeah.
It'll come when it comes, if it comes.
Yeah, it'll come when it comes, if it comes. Yep. And it is what it is, and it's not what it's not.
It'll be there one day. Like, I'm totally such a, it's okay, it'll be there one day. And you know what? The main thing that mattered to her was her little brother. And I can tell you what, so I try to focus very deeply into him, because that is what Annaliese would want for Leonidas. Like, man, she couldn't wait till he was a little bit older for her to play with him, and it's very tragic.
She's like, can you just grow up?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, so
like, can you be old enough to be my friend?
2.5, so, like, the autism piece wasn't even really there quite yet, you know what I mean? Right. She just, needed him to be bigger and stronger, and so I feel like any opportunities, whatever comes my way, like, honestly, that's kind of where we try to focus it.
Yeah.
And I think that is what has saved Dad and me more than anything. We always say Leonidas is our tether. Whether he was neurotypical or neurodivergent, either way, like, Annaliese loved that kid so hard. So it's like, she would, like, smack me in the back of the head if I didn't do right by him. Like, and so that's why I feel like I'm honoring her, if that makes any sense at all. I feel like that sounds so...
No, I can...
kind of cheesy, but I feel like that's my best way to honor her, because she was so excited to have a sibling. Because, I mean, she was like 9 when he was born.
Yeah.
She had been an only child for a long...
She was ready.
Yeah, she was so ready. She was PO'd that he was a boy, and she got over that. But either way, she was so stoked. And then, when they turn 2, they're not so, you break them. And so she was so excited. And unfortunately, it happened the way it did. But... so I try to think of it as like, well, then I will just make sure he is safe.
Yeah.
And he is good. And I know that's all that would matter to her. And that's, sometimes in life, I think if anyone's been in therapy, we know this. The only thing you control is yourself. You cannot control other people. Yeah. You cannot control life's events. So all I can do is try to, in my own mind, honor her. Yeah. And so anything that has to do with her, her brother, our family, anything publicly is always about Annaliese.
You said legacy before, and I love that.
Yeah.
Her legacy.
She's my legacy. Yeah. It's crazy, right? She's not, because when you think legacy, you think about passing it on in generations. Like, no, she's already gone. That's my legacy still. I cannot have any more children for medical reasons, and I'm fine with that. I've had 3. But, like, I kind of am glad, low-key. Like, I don't want to replace her. I don't. Like, as mad as, like, that sounds and stuff like that. Like, no. I love to honor her so much, and I never thought this would be my life. But I love to advocate for other people, because not everybody is able to be so... and that's why, that earlier loss in life kind of came into play, where I think that's why I really didn't just... spiral. And then my son, those are my tethers, and those are also what makes me want to hold other people and tell them, like, I'd be lying to say it's going to be okay, but it doesn't have to stop here.
It's not going to be okay, but life is
it'll never be okay.
Life is going to keep
it
happening.
Don't got to stop here. Exactly. Like, no, it'll never be okay. And that's the poopy part of it. And I, at 13 had to wrap my mind around that.
At a young age.
But what's crazy is, when you have something like that happen, you don't think it's like lightning striking a rod twice in the same place.
You're not
you know what I
yeah.
mean? But the point is, like, it's not fine, but I just love other people so much that I'm like, well, maybe I'm meant to be some sort of just someone to help people or whatever. And we touched on it briefly, and I know we're wrapping up, so I'd love to throw this out there, right? We were talking about how I was helpful to someone else. Annaliese passed on the 3rd of March in 2022, and I believe it was the 6th or the 9th. I had a good friend, good friend, but we hadn't spoken like a decade. And she called me at like 7 o'clock a.m. on Facebook Messenger. And we all know how when you get one of those, you're like, what? I haven't talked to you forever. Why are you doing this? But something in my soul, and we were up early because she died, on the morning ride. So every morning we'd hear the bus go by, and it was terrible. Point is, we were awake. My phone rings, and I'm like, what the heck? It's calling me. And I'm like, oh, it's my unnamed friend, I'll leave, from 10 years ago. But we don't have no beef or anything. We just haven't really been in touch. And I answer the phone, and this girl's screaming. And I know the scream. That scream. And I was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And her daughter, who was just turning 20, got her own apartment and stuff. She was working at Texas Roadhouse, and she was pulling out, and a drunk driver hit her and killed her. T-boned her car. Killed her instantly. And me and this girl, we didn't have any problems or anything, but, she'd known about Anna, and she's like, I didn't know what to do. I was at the unaliving point, if you will, and I couldn't think of anyone in the world that would understand, and I'm sorry to do this to you. I was like, no, don't be sorry. I'm so glad. I'm not so glad this happened, but I'm so glad it occurred to you to call someone that understands and can kind of keep you cool till your family and your people get there with you, because she was, states away.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean. I think, I don't know why, this is my job or my role or whatever it is, but like, I love other people so much.
You said about like how the universe can be wicked. Like, that's what I think of when
if I have to take in all this pain to try to help other people, then it was, I don't want to say worth it, but it was, the wording is
it means something.
Yes, it was
means
not all
something.
In vain.
It's
Even when you look at my news interviews and things after Anna, my main thing was like, well, she's gone. No matter what I do, you know what I mean? I can be angry, I can sue, I can this, I can that, but she's not going to come back.
Yeah.
So all I can do is try to comfort other people, educate other people, let them know what their options are, and then also in the process, because I was, I don't want to say blessed, but I mean, kind of given the opportunity to be a spokesperson to look into technologies and cameras and ways. And like I said, at first it did start off with just, you're going to be our school bus person. But then my CEO was like, man, you're really like articulate and all these other things. So now, like, no, I've had the joy, or not joy, but like, I'm proud of myself. The honor. Like, yes. Thank you so much for that.
No. Yeah.
The honor, right? Because our company, or our, not company, but our nonprofit for the last 12 years, this was our 12th year, because during COVID, we skipped a year. We do National School Bus Safety Month. But this time I did it. I talked to all the senators and their staff, and like federal senators. So like, I can say it. It's Gary Peters and Deb Fisher. And we intentionally choose two from both sides of the aisle, because this is it's not a partisan issue. This is not about which side of the aisle you stand on. We all love our kids. We all want our kids to be safe. And so that's what Child Safe Network's all about. And that's what that was all about. And so, I mean, obviously it educated me a lot, right? Like things I never thought I'd be doing.
Right.
I'm doing these things and standing in front of people I never thought I'd be in front of.
Yeah.
Like within 2 or 3 weeks, but like it's just the way, it's my nature.
Yeah.
That bootstraps, that gumption get you some. That's how I was raised, you know what I mean? Like when things happen, they happen. So all you can try to do is keep other people safe, help other people understand, and try to prevent anyone else from ever having to go through that. And if they did go through that too, and maybe they're not me, maybe they're not, maybe they're stronger, maybe they're not, I'm here with recommendations. And there's no shame in the game about getting help and talking to a therapist or whatever you may need to do. If you need to go out in the desert and scream your brains out, then you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm all about whatever you need to do in that way when it's safe.
Yeah.
Like, sure.
Yeah.
Let that out.
We got to let those things out.
Yes,
And, you know, and I think about like the things we can and cannot control, like grief in the wild. And so next week, if you guys listened and Leandra's story resonated with you and you can kind of understand in a sense or in your own way, Leandra is going to be coming back on the podcast next week to share some of her grief in the wild, which is grief in public, which just shows up whenever it wants to. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us. It is an honor and a privilege to share your story.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for making the trip out here and sharing this time with us and this date. Like, I know how it's so many things. It's bittersweet. It's the both.
I would like to wrap up with saying I appreciate you ladies for listening about it and giving me an opportunity because, you know, it is kind of like a random rare occurrence. So I'm so thankful for once for it to not be about all, you know, the other pieces, but just like what this means and how it doesn't have to be the end of the world. It feels like it, you know, but you can take these things and do good things for them. And you ladies know this too. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. It might feel like it. Yeah. So I just appreciate the outlet. I appreciate you guys having me. Don't worry about my travel. It was a pleasure.
And we got to learn about Anna too, and thank you for that.
I'm so happy to share. She's my world.
Yeah. Little pink and blue and purple haired girl.
She really is. So yeah, galaxy hair all day.
Yes.
I love that.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure, ladies.
Yes, thank you. And we will be back next week. We hope to see you guys next week. And we were going to talk about grief in the wild.
Grief in the wild.
So. All right. Bye.
Bye, everybody.